Dude, the star of a reality show is going to run the country. Half the people don't even want this fucking thing. He's so obviously a dope. He's so dumb.
Bill Burr, the unapologetic comedy sniper, just destroyed Donald Trump on live TV, and Trump is definitely not laughing. The man went all in, mocking everything from Trump's fast food obsession to his legendary spray tan without a shred of hesitation.
When Trump went to McDonald's, wasn't that amazing? That's the only time I've ever seen that guy truly happy.
If Trump thought he was untouchable, Burr just proved that no amount of power or bronzer can shield him from a savage roast. And can you believe where he started? Straight from calling Trump a toddler with nuclear codes.
Stupid the way that they handle Trump.
What do you mean?
You should shut up. He's a narcissist. Neutral energy.
It summed up everything wrong with the idea of him having that kind of power. Burr wasn't randomly throwing insults. He pointed out how Trump reacts without thinking, how his ego controls his decisions, and how someone like that had access to weapons that could wipe out entire countries. Trump built his whole image on being strong and dominant, but Burr showed how predictable and easy to provoke he actually is. He fired officials because they didn't flatter him enough.
It's like, oh my God, was that empathy? Of the people, Donald?
He spent years on social media feuding with comedians and reporters instead of running the country. Burr laid it out with one punch. Someone who takes every little comment personally should not be in charge of military decisions. The crowd laughed, but there was nothing funny about the reality of it. Then Burr took aim at what he called the one-hit wonder problem.
Yeah, you think he'd go away?
You know what I think he was? I think he was a one-hit wonder. Right? He wrote the twist, and then that was it. He was on the casino circuit, and then you idiot liberals wrote him twist again when you indicted him. And now he's a martyr. And now he's coming back, Jimmy.
A president who loses should quietly step away and fade into the background. That did not happen. Trump stayed in the spotlight, getting even more attention than before. He turned every lawsuit, every scandal, every piece of bad press into fuel for his image. He didn't just survive these things, he used them. Burr made it clear that Trump's staying power is not because of strategy or intelligence.
Both die of natural causes before the election, and maybe you could get somebody that still has something to live for.
He thrives on chaos. His critics scream, and he turns their outrage into more attention. His ability to keep himself relevant is not about skill. It is about knowing that if people keep talking, he stays in the game.
This year, you're not going to get a visit from Santa, but you are going to get a visit from the Secret Service.
That led straight into Burr's next attack, how people still act like they don't know where they stand on Trump. The idea of undecided voters is ridiculous.
I am so psyched that this stupid election is finally over. Took forever. You know?
Trump has been in headlines for years. There is no mystery left. The election cycle drags on like an overhyped reality show. The debates, the campaign ads, the endless discussions, none of it matters. People have already chosen their sides. Trump plays into this perfectly. He is not a politician, he is an entertainer.
Everybody knew who they were voting for 4 years ago. And then they just drag you through a year and a half of this stuff?
His campaign is not about policies or leadership. It is about making sure he is always the center of attention. Burr pointed out the obvious. Trump is not winning because of political genius.
Like, who was sitting there watching the debate like still not decided? Two of the most polar opposite people ever. It's like, all right, let's see. What does the orange bigot have to say?
Then Burr shifted to something even weirder. Trump's obsession with fast food. Of all the moments that could define his presidency, the one where he proudly served Big Macs to a football team stood out.
My favorite part of the campaign, though, was when Trump went to McDonald's. Wasn't that amazing? That's the only time I've ever seen that guy truly happy.
This was not just a PR stunt. This was genuine happiness. Other world leaders build images of class, intelligence, and diplomacy. Trump chose burgers. Burr pointed out how bizarre it is for a man who constantly brags about being rich to act like a college student surviving on drive-through meals. This is not about what he eats. It is about image. Trump wants to be a billionaire who still seems like a regular guy. Burr showed how ridiculous that is. That is when Burr went further. joking that Trump probably thinks the nuclear codes are just the recipe for a secret sauce.
Like he was glowing. When he got behind the counter, it was like he was behind stage at like Springsteen or something. He's like, oh my God, this is like where they make the French fries.
It was funny because it felt accurate. Trump treated classified documents like souvenirs. He took them home, showed them off, left them lying around. Burr painted the picture. Trump sitting at Mar-a-Lago, flipping through national security secrets like they were a fast food menu. The joke worked because it was not far from reality. Trump never acted like these things were serious. Burr's punch landed hard. Trump sees power as something to collect, not as a responsibility. And do you know what my favorite part of that show was? When Burr went after Trump's hair.
They both got the long hair and the good body. They don't wear shirts.
People have mocked it for years, but Burr took it to another level, saying it might not just be a bad comb-over, but a living organism controlling his brain. Trump's hair has become part of his brand, as recognizable as his all-caps tweets and loyalty tests. For decades, it has defied logic, gravity, and even the natural aging process.
Dude, he is the greatest shit talker of all time. He sat at like $100,000 breakfast while the president trashed him.
Back in 2011, Barbara Walters asked if it was a wig. Trump let her tug at it, proving it was real, but that didn't make it less confusing. Burr's take was simple. Maybe people have been looking at this all wrong. Instead of thinking of Trump as a man with hair, maybe the hair has a man attached to it. That led straight into the real mystery. Where are Trump's tax returns? Burr joked that the IRS would probably need a machete and a search warrant to get through the tangled mess on his head to find them. The joke landed because it made sense. Trump has gone to extreme lengths to keep those documents hidden. For over 40 years, he has avoided full transparency.
There's like another 45 minutes left. This can't be the guy. Who's the real guy? And that's when fucking Hillary, she fucking comes walking in. Yeah, she goes to those Bilderberg meetings, you know, where they dress up like pheasants and they fuck each other.
Presidents are supposed to have their taxes automatically audited, but in 2022, Congress revealed the IRS failed to do that for Trump's first 2 years in office. Burr's punchline was clear. Trump's entire financial life is a maze of secrecy, so if he's hiding something, it might as well be buried where no one would dare check. That tied straight into Trump's obsession with Twitter, which Burr described as his personal nuclear launch button.
Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Real Donald Trump. At least I will go down as a president.
No world leader has ever used social media the way Trump did. He sent over 57,000 tweets as president, averaging 12 per day. Other leaders were in meetings, reviewing security briefings, or passing laws. Trump was online at 3 a.m., ranting in all caps, eating cold fast food, and feuding with celebrities. In 2019 alone, he tweeted more than 7,700 times. Some days, he fired off over 200 tweets. This wasn't just a social media habit. His entire presidency revolved around Twitter. His policies, decisions, and even foreign relations were often based on whatever he decided to post in the middle of the night.
I have to say, though, him winning is the most astounding thing I've ever seen.
It was a surprise.
No. Surprise. Dude, the star of a reality show is going to run the country.
The funniest part? Trump built his brand on attacking fake news, but his own Twitter feed read like a gossip column written by a conspiracy theorist on an energy drink binge. He accused CNN, the New York Times, and the Washington Post of spreading lies. Yet he was the one retweeting QAnon theories and posting false crime stats.
Yeah.
He was the shit, though. He just reminded me like when I didn't read the book and I'm just winging it, you know? I'm gonna do it. How you gonna do that? Oh, you'll see.
His tweets were flagged for misinformation so often that Twitter had to step in and start labeling them. By January 2020, it was so bad that Twitter finally banned him. The irony was obvious. Trump, who spent years screaming about fake news, was one of the biggest sources of chaotic, unverified nonsense on the platform. So if you want to know who's torching Trump next, Smash that subscribe button like it's a plate of McNuggets at Mar-a-Lago.